Bridgerton Season 4 is shaping up to be all about Benedict, which totally makes sense since the show's been sticking pretty closely to the order of Julia Quinn's books. But just because Benedict's love story is front and center doesn't mean the show can also make time for Francesca. Her story might not take the spotlight just yet, but Season 4 could still do a lot to push her arc forward, especially after the surprising setup in Season 3. Now, for anyone who's new to Bridgerton, here's the quick version. It's a Regency-era romance with a colorful twist on history, and each season zeroes in on one of the Bridgerton siblings and their romantic journey. Season 1 kicked things off with Daphne, Season 2 focused on Anthony, and Season 3 dove into Colin's story. So it's only fair that Season 4 belongs to Benedict. And while Netflix hasn't officially locked in a release date, it's expected to land sometime in 2026. Benedict's story starts off at one of the iconic Bridgerton masquerade balls, where he meets Sophie Beck, a mysterious woman who captures his attention. She'll be played by Yeren Ha, and their romance is expected to take center stage. That said, there's still plenty of room to explore what's going on with other characters. The series doesn't have to limit itself to just one relationship per season, especially when fans are already curious about where Francesca's storyline is headed after Season 3's surprise twist. See, in the finale of Season 3, we were introduced to Michaela Sterling, John Sterling's cousin. And here's the interesting part. In the original books, Francesca does marry John, but he dies young. Eventually, she ends up falling in love with his cousin Michael. The show gave that plot a gender swap twist by introducing Michaela instead, played by Masali Baduza. It's a big change from the source material, but it opens up new doors for Francesca's future. And if you caught that moment in Season 3 where Francesca kind of blanked on her own name when she met Michaela, you're not alone. That reaction hinted at something deeper than just polite conversation. Even though Francesca is married to John at this point in the story, there's definitely a spark, something the writers could easily explore in upcoming episodes, even if it's all kept platonic on the surface, for now. So what would it mean if Francesca and Michaela's connection actually starts to develop in Season 4? Well, it's complicated. Francesca would still be married to John, which obviously makes things messy. But that doesn't mean the show can't begin to build a foundation of her eventual romance. In the books, Francesca and Michael grow closer during her marriage to John. Nothing scandalous, but it sets the stage for what comes after. The show could do the same, slowly teasing the emotional bond between Francesca and Michaela without rushing into anything inappropriate. Of course, Bridgerton could decide to shelve their storyline altogether until it's time for Francesca's own season, which would likely be Season 6, if Season 5 focuses on Eloise. But honestly, that would be a wasted opportunity. Starting Francesca and Michaela's arc early would add depth, not just to their characters, but to the whole series. Their relationship has the potential to be one of the most emotional in the show, especially since it's a new direction that hasn't been explored in the books. So far, we know both Francesca and Michaela are returning in Season 4, and that opens the door to all kinds of possibilities. There could be subtle moments, glances, quiet conversations, or even tension that help build the chemistry between them without rushing things. Francesca is still figuring herself out, and Michaela might not even realize how deeply she's feeling yet. So developing their bond slowly could really pay off in the long run. And let's not forget, Bridgerton has already proven it's willing to take creative liberties with the source material. Changing Michael to Michaela is a bold move, but it's one that could make Francesca's story feel fresher and more contemporary, while still keeping the emotional beats from the original. The key is to handle it with care, and Season 4 is the perfect time to start laying that groundwork. And now that we know Bridgerton is officially renewed for Seasons 5 and 6, Netflix has even more time to flesh out these side stories. The platform announced in May 2025 that not only is Season 4 happening in 2026, but the story will absolutely be focused on Benedict. That means we don't have to worry about the show wrapping things up early, which was a valid concern before the renewal was confirmed. The books themselves follow all 8 Bridgerton siblings, and the show seems committed to that plan. Still, they haven't always followed the order exactly. Season 3, for example, skipped over Benedict's book to tell Colin's story first. So even though Season 4 will circle back to Benedict and Sophie, Seasons 5 and 6 are anyone's guess. It could be Eloise next, or maybe Francesca finally gets her moment. Speaking of Eloise, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to her future. While she's yet to be the main focus of a season, Eloise has consistently been a fan favorite thanks to her sharp wit, independent streak, and total lack of interest in traditional society. If and when her story finally comes around, the show might need to rethink how it adapts her book to Sir Philip with Love. In the novel, Eloise is 28, single, and feeling the weight of loneliness. After her cousin Marina dies, Eloise sends a letter of condolence to Marina's widower, Sir Philip Crane, and the two start corresponding. Eventually, they fall in love, get married, and Eloise adopts his kids. But here's the thing. The Eloise we've gotten to know on the show feels really different from the version in the book, so it might not make sense to follow that exact storyline beat for beat. The Netflix version of Eloise has been portrayed as someone fiercely independent and skeptical of marriage. That's a big shift from the book character, and it might not feel natural to see her suddenly throw herself into a relationship just because she's lonely. If the show does move forward with Eloise's romance, it'll probably need to reshape the story to better fit who she is on screen. All of this brings us back to why Season 4 is such a pivotal moment for the show. With the main spotlight on Benedict and Sophie, there's still plenty of space to continue building out other storylines, especially Francesca's. Even if her romance with Michaela doesn't fully kick off just yet, it could be introduced with subtlety and care, keeping audiences hooked and giving the characters more room to grow. The bottom line is, Bridgerton has a lot of moving parts. With so many siblings, so many potential romances, and a whole bunch of side characters to develop, it's smart for the show to start laying the groundwork early. Waiting until Season 6 to introduce a fully formed Francesca and Michaela romance would feel rushed. But if we start seeing glimmers of it in Season 4, even if it's just shared looks or a growing friendship, it'll make their eventual story so much more meaningful. Plus, from a storytelling perspective, weaving in Francesca and Michaela's dynamic now helps balance the romance-heavy focus of Benedict's arc with something fresh and emotionally layered. It adds complexity to Francesca's marriage to John, hints at internal conflict, and gives fans something to look forward to down the line. So while Season 4 is definitely Benedict's time to shine, it doesn't have to come at the expense of everyone else. Francesca's future is shaping up to be one of the most intriguing arcs in the series, and it would be a real shame to put it on pause when there's such a perfect opportunity to start developing it. With Netflix committed to more seasons, there's no reason not to let the slow burn begin now, because when it finally pays off, it'll be worth the wait. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.